Hey, welcome back to Room 237. This is John coming at you with another horror review. And this is another 80s remake that I can't believe I've never saw before till just recently, and that is The Blob. Of course, this is a remake of the 50s film of the same name, starring Steve McQueen. This movie is... Now, I will put this in the same realm as John Carpenter's The Thing and David Cronenberg's The Fly. Difference: John Carpenter's The Thing is more atmospheric, claustrophobic, ambiguous, and bleak. The Fly is more of a twisted love story, a depressing love story. This one, of the three, this is the fun one. This is the one that just goes crazy, has fun, has a sense of humor. People get fucked up. It still feels like a B movie, and I liked it way more than I thought I would. Pretty much, it just like it kind of reminded me of Slither a little bit. Like a good throwback to the 50s B movie, science fiction horror. Takes place in a very small town, like where everyone goes to the same diner. Everybody knows everybody on a first name basis. But there's this little gelatinous thing that descends upon the earth, and it starts to grow. And as soon as you touch it, it just absorbs you, and you melt, and it just implodes you. Like, this scene that's on the cover was really horrific. And pretty much you just see a bunch of people around the town getting attacked by this blob. Now, I don't really want to go plot point for plot point, but you have Shawnee Smith, who people might know as Amanda from the Saw movies. She's a cheerleader. She goes on a date with, actually this guy, sort of football player. They come across this homeless, like this hermit out of the middle of nowhere, who's got this funky thing on his hand because he finds the blob. Of course, they also meet Kevin Dillon, who's like this biker badass kid. And another thing about this movie is you get characters that are actually smart. You get ones that actually care about each other. And, when you get characters that are smart or trying to do the right thing, it kind of makes you care about them more. I think this movie takes a few stabs at slasher films, which, this came out in 1988. So, slasher films were almost on its way out, but you had a bunch of sequels that came out that year. In fact, the film within the film, because of course they do recreate the scene where the blob goes into the movie theater, it's called, like, Garden Tool Massacre or something. It's pretty much a spot-on parody of slasher films, and then, slasher films always make their characters stupid and careless, but these ones, every character's trying to do the right thing, always caring for other people. Just makes it that much more when they die. And I don't really want to go too much into the story, because this movie, even though the story works, it's pretty much people trying to survive. And then, of course, at one point, there's like all the hazmat people, like the ET people coming in, trying to quarantine the town, but you find out the blob's man-made. They actually made it. Like, germ warfare, they fucked up, Kevin Dillon says. Which, the sense of humor I'll get to. Well, actually, the sense of humor I'll do first. Like, there's a scene where, this guy and his buddy, they go to the pharmacy. The buddy wants to buy condoms, but his reverend's there, so he's trying to cover it up, say, oh, they're for my friend. So the guy that sells them to him ends up being Shawnee Smith's dad. So when the dude's buddy goes to pick her up, he's just like ribbed. They end up working it out, but yeah, there is a lot of humor. A lot of people don't like comedy in their horror, but as long as the two don't touch too much, I think it's fine. I mean, unless you have like an Evil Dead 2 type movie, then I think it's fucking awesome. But like my favorite line in this is when, you know, they throw, you know, like the whole town, all the hazmat people, everyone is up like in the square of the city. The blob's in the sewer. It's like towards the end, everything's already been fucked up. They like throw a grenade or something down there, and then like the whole ground's like vibrating, and they're just like, "What's going on? What's that?" And Kevin Dillon's just like, "I think you pissed it off." Just the way he says it, like, "I think you pissed it off." Just great delivery. I love shit like that. Like, it kind of reminded me of Poltergeist 2, when the Native American guy is like, "Your car is very angry." And then the dad is just like, "Angry? That car is pissed." It reminded me of that. Or even that stupid line on Maximum Overdrive when Emilio Estevez is just like, "Jesus Christ is coming, and he is pissed." I don't know. But still, that part in this, like, "I think you pissed it off." Great. But then you gotta get to special effects, because just like John Carpenter's The Thing, just like David Cronenberg's The Fly, also with Chuck Russell's The Blob, this is why we need practical effects. More CGI can die and go to hell, for all I care. Unless you use it to tweak a little bit, you know, a little bit of movie magic, that's fine. This was all done practically. Like, see this? This was actually a human being encased in some goop, going like this and screaming, and, you know, his face was all stretched because... But, you know, pretty horrific sequence. And it worked. It looks real because there's something actually happening there. The creature effects were done by Lyle Conway. I wish I had my phone with me just so I can say what else he's worked on. But he's worked on a bunch of stuff. I mean, in the 70s and 90s, a lot of creature stuff is you've probably seen his stuff. Jeffrey DeMing, a lot of people know him. Probably most recently, he was on The Walking Dead. He plays a sheriff. He needs to do a movie with Robert De Niro because those two look and act alike. But he was a sheriff. You know, he uses his brain. He's very caring. But anyway, back to the special effects, because that is the bulk of the Blob. The bulk of the Blob. You see the old man, the hermit with the thing on his hand, but then later on when they go to look at him, like they pulled this blanket back and his whole lower body's like melted. And then of course you get this sequence, like Shawnee Smith goes to grab his arm and his arm just pops right off and it's all like melted and like sizzling. The scene in the diner where the guy, he's trying to plunge the sink in the kitchen. He sticks his hand down in it and he actually gets sucked down the drain and like you see his feet in the sink and there's just bloody chunks going everywhere. They actually had the ball. Well, first you have that scene with the couple that's parking in the car. Like this guy's buddy that bought the condoms, he's kind of like a quagmire kind of guy. He's kind of a sexual perv. His date passes out, so he's trying to like feel her up. But the Blob is like gets inside of her while he's getting drinks from the trunk. And it's sort of like John Carpenter's The Thing. It just explodes and encases the guy. And they actually had the balls to kill a kid, which the kid was very obnoxious. The kid with the headphones, he's the one that gets killed. But the one that doesn't get killed, Shawnee Smith's character's brother, he was the lead kid in Return of the Living Dead 2. Sort of like a smart kid. But, you know, that other kid was fucking obnoxious. He gets killed, you know, and They did it in such a way where it's like, okay, he gets grabbed by the blob, pulled under the water, and then all of a sudden he just comes out for like a jump scare. That works. It's not a shitty jump scare. You know, his face is all fucked up. So, you know, the woman that works at the diner, you know, when she's in the phone booth and the blob is just encasing the phone booth. Then you see the sheriff, where she's on the phone, and the phone booth's like, "Where's Sheriff whatever?" And you hear them over the phone saying like, "Oh, you're headed to the diner." And so then all of a sudden, like, in the background, you just see like his half-melted face pop up because he went to go see her, and the blob got him. Just very, very creative deaths. I haven't seen the original Blob. I've seen bits and pieces of it a long, long time ago. I don't remember much from it. This movie did not make a lot of money. It made like $8 million on like a $19 million budget. Very pathetic. A lot of people didn't give it the pass. A lot of people hated it. But for like an 80s movie that's not a slasher and is just another sci-fi horror remake, it's up there with The Thing and The Fly. Great special effects. You get funny, good characters like Shawnee Smith, who wasn't just Amanda in the Saw movies. She also had a bit in Stephen King's The Stand. She's been in a lot of stuff. She starts off as like a cheerleader, and by the end of the movie, she's like a Ellen Ripley character from Aliens. You know, she's grabbing guns. She's like, "Is that the best you got?" And she's like blasting the blob. She's getting shit done. Get character development. This is just a fun movie. Again, along with The Fly and The Thing, this would probably be third behind those two, because The Thing I just absolutely love. The Fly is more my pace, you know, much slower kind of movie. But just for balls to the wall, fun, just craziness, just for the sake of, you know what, let's just have a blob just fuck people up. And let's throw some humor in there and just some grotesque effects that look beautiful. I love it. Well, I mean, I love the effects. That's what I mean. The movie itself, I thought was really good. It was really fun. This is definitely, like, this is my kind of popcorn movie. A lot of people might watch like Fast and Furious or The Avengers or something. Of course, I love Batman. But, you know, for like horror movies, you know, this is the sort of fun, crazy, you know, almost, not quite, almost up there with like Evil Dead 2. But, of course, Evil Dead 2 is Evil Dead 2. That movie's fucking awesome. But, you know, The Blob was just more fun than I thought it would be. And really, the story isn't much because it's just people trying to survive in this small town. That's all you need. But you have great characters that, it really does suck this movie didn't get the attention that it deserved. But, you know, it does have its audience. It is very fun to watch. It has great special effects. Just, it really bums me out. There's people that make shit like this, and Hollywood just goes all CGI, and it's fucking bullshit. And some people also don't like the fact that, well, the blob, the meteor was man-made, so the blob isn't really an alien. Well, it was like a virus that an alien thing went into the meteor, the satellite, and then it mutated. So it's still like an alien. It's still an alien movie like The Thing or Body Snatchers or something. Again, maybe not as good a movie as The Fly, maybe not as memorable as The Thing, but The Blob is still just a fun special effects creature feature. I guess that's the best way I can sum it. Just a fun and funny, brutal, grotesque sort of creature feature from the 80s. And it's fun as hell. So, Blob, I would recommend this. But for Room 237, that's all I got for The Blob. Thank you.